social and cultural factors are often things that we ignore. We think they are the things that happen in front of our faces, but we don't notice because we accept or we adapt. And social and cultural factors are norms that are reinforced since we're a young age. They they are like the guidance or the compass to what we choose to do, how we do it, when we do it, because it plays a big role, especially behavior and decision making. Because every time we act a certain way, especially around people and social, in public places, or just with people who believe a certain way, especially cultural beliefs or cultural factors, we tend to either adapt to what is happening around us and reinforce it, or it's reinforced and we either um, think the way they do or we think opposite, right? So we end up basically fearing of rejection, right? So we want to be the same as everyone. So it influences how people end up either thinking. They either want to think the same as other people. I mean, as those who they feel they identify with. And this just goes back to how either people compare themselves, social, or no, self-comparison theory, the way people compare themselves, and then identifying theory, if I'm not butchering it, the way that people identify themselves compared to other people. It's just everything blends in together, and it all influences how social norms end up continuing to be reinforced. Social norms feeds those it's like a cycle that feeds itself basically, and those behaviors are always being reinforced based on how we react to social norms and cultural norms. And specifically development, um, when we grow up, we learn this right away, and we think we're not thinking of that. We're thinking of other things. We're thinking about being kids or whatever, but our parents, friends, they all reinforce it. Don't act a certain way, or you either get disciplined, or you go to church often since you're a kid. And little things like don't pour the cup under the table or put it on top of the table. Like specific things, the way you do things, from the way how you speak, the way you perceive things. It's all like a cycle that feeds itself, and it's almost hard to distinguish which is which, because sometimes it's all just feeding itself. So another thing I wanted to put in there was us versus them. So I wanted to choose us versus them because we put ourselves, or we see ourselves in as us, right? We like to identify ourselves as us, right? And anybody else who we feel identifies close to us, or we identify to them, we consider as us. So that's the in group, and we favor those people. We trust them more. We'll act even more. We'll just favor them over those who are out groups, or part of a group who aren't us. They're them. That's what we call out group. At least I think, if I remember right. But that's them. So them, the out group, versus us who are in the group, will tend to reinforce these same beliefs. So these cultural things, these cultural factors, everything starts to feel itself again. So it's kind of hard to distinguish what feels what. At the end of the day, they're all fueling each other, causing similar situations, but at a different extremes, different levels. So it's kind of hard because development and maintenance, it's almost like this continuous thing. So how do you know what caused a certain thing when it's a cycle that feeds itself? It's kind of what I got down to, especially when it comes down to other stories. So at the end of the day, social and cultural factors are social norms, cultural norms that are reinforced to us since a kid, since we're born, since we're able to understand knowledge that is given to us. And it's either accepted or rejected based off of social and cultural norms, right? Cultural factors. And we continue this cycle by going out in the social world. And people who are part of our group will continue to reinforce these factors. And those who are outside of our group will just keep them out from our group. That's them. Who cares? It's not us yet. It's them. So it just continues this cycle that it's almost hard to pinpoint what it is unless you're the person who's doing it. So that's kind of what makes it hard. But yeah, it is all influenced by each other.